Isn't it a fact that social media has lowered the cost of being an a-hole?
Yes.
And isn't it true that social media removes any geographical border to the harassment of others?
Yes.
And isn't it true that some forms of social media optimize for engagement?
Yes, I think using your term, they reward being an a-hole.
Yeah.
Hey folks, welcome back to Capital Insights. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss out on insightful discussions like today's. Today, we're diving into the recent questioning of Bejar by Senator John Kennedy during the Judiciary session. It was an intense exchange about the impact of social media on society, both its positives and its darker side.
Mr. Bejar, social media can make people less lonely, can it not?
It can do that.
Social media can deliver insight, can it not?
It can.
Social media, when used properly, can give voice to the timid, can it not?
It can.
Social media can also spread hate, can it?
It can.
And isn't it a fact that much of social media, not all, but much of social media has become a cesspool of snark?
What I can speak to, Senator, is it happens all so often, and it doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah. But is it that way for much of, not all, but much of social media?
One of the numbers that I talk about is this 20% of kids who witnessed bullying in the last 7 days. And this is content that does not get taken down. If people comment on it, it gets promoted.
Yeah. Well, let me put it another way. I'm trying to sum this up for us. Isn't it a fact that social media has lowered the cost of being an a-hole?
Yes.
And isn't it true that social media removes any geographical border to the harassment of others?
Yes.
And isn't it true that some forms of social media optimize for engagement?
Yes, I think using your term, they reward being an a-hole.
Yeah. And isn't it true that some forms of social media use surveillance to identify our and our kids' hot buttons?
I cannot speak to that.
Isn't it true that some forms of social media use algorithms to show us and our kids stuff that pushes those hot buttons?
I will say this. Recently, my daughter had somebody go into one of her posts about cars and said, you know, you'd like to drive and you like cars because you saw a man doing it. And she said, I'm studying automotive restoration. I've been doing this for years. I know a lot about cars. I am more than qualified. And the person shot back, no, women just belong in the passenger seat. And to every point that you just made, I will say that when I asked her about that post, if she would delete it because she knows reporting would do nothing, she said, I will not delete it because I'm worried that that will mean that less people will see my posts.
Now, Senator Kennedy wasn't all about praising social media. He quickly pointed out that a lot of it has become a cesspool of snark, spreading hate and enabling bullying. It's no secret that we've all seen some pretty toxic stuff online, right? People feel like they can say anything from behind a screen without facing the consequences. This is the part that truly harms individuals, especially young people. Kennedy's point here is pretty clear. While social media can do a lot of good, it can also bring out the worst in people. Kennedy took it a step further by suggesting that social media has lowered the cost of being an a-hole. I mean, think about it. You can post a hateful comment, spread rumors, or engage in arguments without worrying about immediate consequences. It's easy to forget that there's a real person on the other side of the screen. What do you think? Has social media made it easier for people to act out negatively without facing real-world consequences? Drop your thoughts in the comments below.